Are you wondering where the housing market is going in 2023? Maybe you're hearing that the market's going to crash. I mean, people are commenting that on my own channels. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, investor, real estate agent, whoever, you want to know what's going on in the industry. So in this video, I deep dive into this exact issue with my real estate community, and I share my perspective on the 2023 housing market. Hey everyone, I'm Linnea Carver with eXp Realty here in Bonney Lake, Washington. I have been licensed in Washington since 2018, and I have lived and been around the Washington state real estate industry since 1979. Yeah, do the math on that. I have done my own research and I've educated myself on the market for a really long time. And what I have found is that, quite frankly, we are not headed for a crash. So stop talking about it. At least we're not heading for one in 2023. Now, I know this can be a controversial topic, so I would love to hear your comments below, and I respond to all of them. So let's keep them clean and honest, please.
How many of you believe that we have a housing shortage?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys know how many houses, if nothing changed, do you know how long it would take to catch up on the current demand for housing?
5 years.
9 years. 9 years. 9 years nationwide. We have a housing shortage of 4.6 million homes in the nation. That's a lot. 428,000 less new homes were built from 2021 to 2022. 428,000 less than the average. So if we keep going at that rate, I don't know how we're ever going to hit this 4.16 million. And this 2.9 months, this is basically on the Northwest MLS. So those of you who are in Washington, now you know the Northwest MLS has basically 3 months of supply, which is still really low. It's a lot more than what we had, but it's still really low. A lot of the people who are in the market now were not in the market 10 years ago. Millennials, they're 27 to 42, I think is the age of millennial. 10 years ago, they were, 17 to, or 15 years ago, whatever, they were like 17, 12 years old. I mean, the demographic of buyers that are here right now, they're millennials are 27 to 42 years old. Your Gen Xers, 43 to 58, and your baby boomers are 59 to 77. So you now have 3 generations of buyers right now. Back then you had 2 generations of buyers. So you guys, this housing shortage is a legitimate crisis.
There is one primary reason that's preventing the market crash in 2023, and that is quite simply, we are in a massive housing shortage. This video, I talk about that with my real estate partners, and I talk about the factors that led up to where we are right now. Here's a summary for you. In recent years, prior to 2020, there was a significant increase in demand for housing due to population growth. The millennial generation hit that prime home buying age. So at the same time all that was happening, there was a massive decrease in the supply of housing due to several factors, including zoning restrictions, labor and material shortages, a lack of new construction. The pandemic made everything even worse. What happened then is that the pandemic led to an overstimulated goods economy. Interest rates reached an all-time low, and supply chains had major issues. So among many factors, these are some of the major ones that resulted in a massive housing shortage that is affecting areas across the country, and most definitely here in Washington.
Now, there's another piece of the housing shortage or the housing crisis that comes into play, and that's affordability. Right here in Washington state, the affordable home in King County is $600,000.
Wow.
$600,000, that's considered an affordable home. So this is really specific to, Washington. So if you're here, just take a screenshot of this. But you guys, nationally, we saw home prices, we're going to see home prices grow from between 1.2 to 2.8% is my estimate and all the research that I found.
Millennials make good money, so, that helps. But honestly, to get into a 1,200 square foot home, maybe a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1960s, you're looking at $1 million. 900s. It's pricey, as Linnea says.
And something else that you didn't touch upon, Linnea, if I may say so, is with the pandemic, there was an important influx of cash in the market. So you have a lot of people that stuck it under the mattress and that have the capability of spending it on real estate. It's all how we address the issue.
And the other thing to that point, Adrian, is that for example, here, where you see a lot, where people who had the cash, that's where the markets were being highly overinflated. So let's take a look at Bellevue, Washington, you guys. That market dropped 20% month over month. 20%. That is a crash. But that's only because Bellevue was so overinflated, because people who work in Bellevue, people who come to Bellevue have cash. The houses there were going for millions of dollars over asking price. Millions, not just hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. So of course that market is an overinflated market, right? So that cash, Adrian, for the people that weren't stuffing it under the mattress were overinflating it to get into any house at the time. So there was like two things going on there. And that's a really, really good point. If we look at what we're seeing right now in markets, how many of you have seen multiple offers on your homes in the last 6 months? I have. I just got 6. I just got 6 on one of my listings. I have another house that's on the market that I've had four offers on. So like, you guys, there's no, like, I do not believe we are in a buyer's market or we are in a seller's market. I do not believe that. Your market is so hyper local, which is why I go back to being a specialist, not a generalist, because like your market is super, super, super local.
Yeah, it all depends on where you are.
Yep.
Because we are the complete opposite of what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. We have so many houses. We have a shortage of buyers.
Yeah. Yep. But that's starting to increase in my area. The other thing is, you guys, let's go back to the affordability factor for a second. I just told you in King County, our affordable housing number is $600,000. That is a lot of money. Okay. Even though our average price point's much higher than that. That's why they say 600,000, but it's because our average price point is in the same county as Bellevue, right? King County is Bellevue is in King County. And what I just tell you about Bellevue, it's an overinflated market. Homes are going for millions of dollars over asking price. So when they set the affordable limit, they set it based off of the average, which includes that market. So it's kind of messed up, you guys. But unless we can figure that out, first-time home buyers, unless there's options for them, they have family, they have money coming in, there's a different types of mortgages, there's something we can do, like first-time homebuyers might be out of the market. So that's what I think. I think over the next 7 to 8 years, we're still going to see those prices grow. We're just not going to see it at these massively overinflated price increase, or the rate of acceleration that we've seen over the last 3 years. It hasn't even been a rapid acceleration over the last 10 years. It's been like 3 years, right? It happened in 2020. That's when they really started to go crazy. Right.
Home prices have skyrocketed and bidding wars are still common in many markets. Remember, real estate markets are hyper-local, and what the news says is not hyper-local. So that made it challenging for many first-time home buyers that were entering the market and trying to find affordable housing. But despite all these reasons, there are many reasons to be optimistic about the housing market in 2023. The primary reason is that the demand for housing isn't going away anytime soon. Population growth is expected to continue, and the millennial generation will continue to reach their prime home buying age in the coming years. Additionally, the current interest rates, which are in line with historical averages, make it an excellent time to buy a house for those who can afford it. And this brings up another issue, which is affordability, which is also covered in this video.
It is a little scary though, if you think about it. Like if you look at these stats and you're like, oh, like it is a little scary. So like our job as realtors is to educate. And the only reason I'm sharing this is not to bring doom and gloom to the market, because, you know, I love real estate. I love this market, but I see this and I'm like, man, there's a lot more that I could be doing. There's a lot more that I could be doing to give back to the community in regards to housing. I can make sure that I'm putting the right people in place. I can make sure that I'm speaking out. I'm make sure that I'm driving awareness, make sure that I'm educating, right? There's a lot more that I could be doing. Because you look at something like this and you think that people are just like, why are you freaking out? Like, it's going to be fine. The market's just resetting. Like we just started out this beginning of the conversation saying that, but there's stats showing that some people are nervous for a legitimate reason. So there's a few things that we just talked about a little bit ago, like lending standards are much more under control, which is why the market's not going to crash, right? People have a record high amount of equity in their homes. We will absolutely see foreclosures. Okay. I'm just going to put that out there. We are going to see foreclosures. We are already starting to see some foreclosures because there were some people that bought their house in 2020 at this crazy high price, right? And then they just took the deferral and just never made a mortgage payment. Are we going to see them at the rapid rate that we saw them back in 2008? Probably not, right? So new builds are taking a lot longer. So if all of these continue, which it's likely that they're going to, like I don't see lending standards loosening up anytime soon. People's equity position will probably start to tighten up a little bit, but are they going to tighten up to the extent where it's going to cause negative equity? Likely not. Likely not. I don't see all of a sudden all the states in the country just being like, okay, let's permit your land really fast. All of a sudden, let's just get these permits through like that. Let's remove all the red tape and new builds can start building right now. Like that's probably not going to happen either. So new builds are going to continue to take longer. So we have this issue of how are we going to educate our clients, our people, our followers about what is actually going on with the housing market right now. Because the media is always talking about, oh my God, the housing market's going to crash. Don't buy, don't buy, don't buy. That's not really the answer.
So ultimately, what I want you to take from this video is that we're not headed for a crash. There's a housing shortage and affordable housing is a problem. Maybe a solution to affordable housing is that we could increase the supply of housing by encouraging more new construction. How do we do that? New construction can be encouraged by easing zoning restrictions, providing incentives for builders, and streamlining the permitting process. Another solution is that more existing properties could be turned into housing, such as turning a lot of commercial spaces, which after the pandemic had less demand, converting those into maybe some residential units. I'm a realtor, and I do believe that people in my community have a responsibility to work together to find solutions for the housing issues that we have. One way we can do this is by collaborating with local governments. We can collaborate with builders. We can collaborate with other stakeholders in the real estate industry and help to create a more sustainable and affordable housing market for everyone. Here's the reality. The 2023 housing market is facing a significant shortage, but this does not equal a crash. While the shortage is presenting its challenges, there are so many reasons to be optimistic about the future of the market. What we're experiencing right now, the market reset, that was absolutely necessary in order for affordability to even be an option in the future. So until we see an increase in the supply of available housing, we are going to continue seeing climbing prices comparative to historical trends and a lack of affordable and sustainable housing solutions. Thank you for watching this video. I know this is a little bit of a different format, but I wanted you to see that, I'm not the only one out there who believes that we are not headed for a crash. There are many other people out there who believe that, yes, there are some issues in the housing market, but a crash is not one of them. If you have comments on any of this, please leave it below. I do respond and read all my comments. On top of that, if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. See you later.